Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing Valorant, which just got updated with Unreal Engine 5. So, I'm expecting it to be way more intensive this time around, especially on the specs that we're about to test it with. So today I'm using a GTX 750 Ti from 2014, a more than decade-old GPU here with the latest Nvidia drivers, which it still supports because it's a Maxwell GPU. That's pretty insane, actually. 580.88 with a 750 Ti. Crazy. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power-Up's GPU-Z. It's also a 2GB variant of the card. There's also a 4GB version, but we're keeping it very low-end here today. Alright? And on the left, I'm pairing it with an i7 CPU, but it's one from 2012. This is the i7 3770K, so it's a 13-year-old CPU running a UE5 game. I am not looking forward to this. And on the memory tab, I'm using 16GB of slow DDR3 1600 MHz RAM. So this is a very low-end PC by today's standards. I like that the GPU is at 69 degrees Celsius there, and also at 69 fan speed. Amazing. Well, let's get into it, shall we? Okay, we're inside of the game here. Let's go over the settings. I am starting at 1080p resolution using the high settings. I mean, these are custom settings, not totally high settings, because I set the UI quality to low, 2x MSAA, and these options are also disabled right here. I'm also going to test it with 16x anisotropic filtering, since that doesn't really impact performance. And let's try it like this. Also, guys, these are the settings that I utilized on my last video when I tested the GTX 750 Ti in Valorant, which was 2 years ago, and it was getting around 130 to 200 frames per second with a 5800X 3D. And here, with a 3770K in Unreal Engine 5, we're getting 180. It's pretty much the same thing. Holy crap! What magic have they done? Riot developers, you are the best. You ported this game to Unreal Engine 5, and it still runs at 200 FPS with a stock 750 Ti and a stock 3770K. Okay, let's pay attention here and try to play this game well. Alright, I'm expecting a couple of stutters here and there at the beginning of the match because it needs to load in some things, but by the end of this, it should be a really smooth experience with that frame time graph. That was a nice headshot, Jet. I feel like the radar hacks also help people a lot in this one, because sometimes you get pinged in the map. For some reason, now it's not happening, now that I want to showcase that. But anyway, let's keep on going, my friends. We're good here. Alright, what was that pre-fire, dude? Okay, anyway, we need to be really fast here with our gun and our shots. Oh yeah, I remember this area was one of the most intensive ones in the entire map, looking in this direction, dropping into the 110s, 120s at times. That is not bad at all. God, what is bad is my gameplay, but hey, it's Valorant. You can't expect me to do well here. Right? I'm sorry, guys, but these people are just way too good for me. It's been a really long time since I played this one as well. 200. I just can't believe this is getting pretty much the same FPS as before, with Unreal Engine 5 this time around. This proves that... come on. Developers are at fault when it comes to Unreal Engine 5 stuttering and the terrible optimization that we've been seeing in recent titles. Because Valorant, I mean, it does look like it does. Right? It's not impressive, graphically speaking, at all. But I prefer to have good gameplay, smooth gameplay especially, with good art style still, because the game doesn't look bad, it's just very simple looking, you know. But this is insane, for a competitive shooter to be playing, oh my god, so well, on such an old system. I am so impressed with this, guys. I was really expecting this. Like, I saw my previous video on it, getting those 130 to 200 frames per second, and I was really thinking that it would drop to like 60 FPS using the same high settings, and we'd need to play with low settings here this time around to achieve good frame rates. Oh my god, there's another one right there. Oh, He wall-banged me! And this isn't even one of the least intensive maps in the game, at least from what I remember. This is like in the middle. There are more intensive maps than this one, and there are less intensive maps than this one, like Bind, for example, is the lowest in intensiveness, I think. The least intensive, that's what I meant to say, but, you know, shooting people and stuff wrecked my brain a little bit. But the people just hear all of the footsteps here in Deathmatch, right? All I'm hearing is my voice through the headphones. And the game is very, very quiet. So this is definitely not a good setup for me to play competitively while recording, of course. Like, that's why I don't play these games in competitive mode in these videos. Yeah, there are some effects, some more effects when you play competitive. Oh my, that was terrible. And said effects will actually drop your FPS by a little bit more than what we're seeing here, but I can't, okay? I need to be very concentrated, and I couldn't really provide any commentary over this. Oh boy, at least live commentary, you know. Oh yeah, I remember this area is also pretty intensive, right? Around here, look in this direction. Yeah, 140 sometimes. This is so good. You can still play this game competitively with a high refresh rate monitor on a 750 Ti, even on high settings. So I wonder, on low settings, it's going to be even better, right? 1 kill remaining. You're not gonna... Oh... And Killjoy kills all of the joy again. Anyway, 176 FPS average, 101% lows. It is smooth. It is high refresh rate. It is UE5. It's like magic. This is like the third game that runs well in UE5, and I am so glad that it does. And remember, this is with 2 times MSAA as well. So now I want to max it out, basically, except for the experimental sharpening, because that looks pretty terrible. I'm gonna use 4 times MSAA as well. All of the bells and whistles here. Vignette has... This sucks, but... yeah, these are settings now. Maximum settings. All right, here we go, guys. It has some spikes right now because it's loading this map for the first time today. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the lower FPS, the better I play. Sometimes that happens, which is really weird, I know. Oh, boy. What a headshot. Obviously, she was waiting for me there because I opened the door. Oh, my God, another huge headshot. Okay, okay. You know what? I should be spectating these people that play really well instead of playing myself, because how can I compete with people that play this game every single day and headshot everyone? Oh my God. Anyway, I'm fine, guys, obviously. I'm just overreacting here. Everybody dies in death matches, right? But I'm really, really happy about this, guys. This is maximum settings with 4 times MSAA at 1080p resolution on a 750 Ti and i7 from 2012. 2012! There are people watching this channel that were born in 2012. How crazy is that? And this isn't even overclocked. The CPU can be overclocked as well. It's a 3770K CPU, but it doesn't need to be. And the RAM can also go higher than 1600 megahertz in the motherboard that I'm using here. But I just wanted to set everything to stock today to see if it would be capable of running this. And look at this. Even without any tweaking, you can play Valorant on a 13-year-old system. You can put something like this together for like $120 or something like that these days. It's really cheap, you know, like an i7 from 12 years ago is what, 20 bucks maybe. A 750 Ti is another 20 bucks. 16 gigabytes of DDR3 is 10 bucks. I mean, the most expensive component will definitely be the motherboard or the power supply. At this point, I wish Counter-Strike 2 was better optimized, because CSGO, for example, ran extremely well on this system, but CS2 struggles a lot. It got way more intensive than... Gosh, stop coming from behind! Oh my God, okay. But yeah, it got way more intensive than CSGO, and now a 750 Ti struggles quite a lot in CSGO, but it's still capable of achieving decent FPS in CS2, that is. I'm gonna leave this one because I'm just getting wrecked here. It's not rage quitting. I want to test it on low settings to see what the CPU is truly capable of. Right now we've been seeing this GPU being a bottleneck most of the time, but let's see what that 3770K is capable of at this point. So lowest settings, all right. I'm even going to restart the game completely to fully apply these. Okay, this is a new map. I haven't played this one before. It has some interesting purple crystals everywhere on the roofs, but I think if they were here on the ground, it would have been much better because it would have added to the gameplay experience, and it would have added some color as well because this map is pretty colorless. Oh, come on! God damn it! Okay. FPS-wise, it's pretty much the same thing as we saw at first with my optimized settings, mostly high, once again. So instead of seeing the... What the... Wait, no freaking way. Look at that power utilization on the 750 Ti. This is more efficient than current iGPUs. What is going on? 13 watts! Are you crazy? I mean, I know the 750 Ti is a very efficient card, all right? It consumes 35 watts under load. It's less than pretty much all of the dedicated GPUs aside from like a GT 1030. But I wasn't expecting it to drop down to 8 watts. Look at that. What the heck? This could pass for a recent super low-end GPU that's made for just esports titles at 720p resolution or Valorant at 1080p, because Valorant is so much less intensive than the others. I mean, again, it doesn't look great, obviously. Even on maximum settings, it's rough in the edges, but it has its art style. I like the art style, and I like the simplicity of the graphics, and for a competitive shooter, it works very well. And I wish more developers did something like this, focused on the art style. It doesn't need to be as simple as Valorant, of course, but if they focused on the art style and the optimization in Unreal Engine 5, they could come up with very good games that run really well and will hold up better than those that try to go realistic, you know, over time, because art style after like 10 years looks better usually than realistic games. After 10 years. Oh, I took a while to shoot there. Could have been a good headshot there. All right. We're doing fine here with the operator. That's not too bad. But yeah, guys, if you want the least input lag, you also want less than 100% GPU utilization. And this is the way. So for those of you that are very, very competitive... that was so close. You should play on the low settings. First of all, the visual clarity will be a little bit better because there is less detail and it's easier to spot people and so on. But also, the input lag will be much reduced because the GPU utilization isn't maxed out. And if you have an extremely powerful CPU, 2 versus 1, seriously, if you have an extremely powerful CPU from behind, seriously... I'm losing my mind a little bit. Okay, finally, an AFK kill. Great stuff. But if you have an extremely powerful CPU... Oh my god. And a lower-end GPU to play Valorant with, and you get always 99% GPU utilization, I suggest you to lock your FPS to your monitor's refresh rate, or a little bit higher than that, or lower than the 1% lows that you get, basically. Or not the 1% lows, because the 1% lows aren't really indicative of the actual performance that we're seeing here, since it doesn't drop to 95, it just stutters a slight bit whenever it's loading things, and that's why they are at 95. But yeah, if I was GPU bound all of the time and getting these FPS that we're getting right now, I would lock them to about 144 or 130 frames per second, and that would feel really damn smooth and really responsive as well. The performance is phenomenal. It's indistinguishable from Unreal Engine 4, basically, which came before it, of course. It's what Valorant used to run on. And even with a 13-year-old PC, or 11-year-old PC, if you count the GPU as the newest component, of course, it still runs. It's not like they updated the engine and they locked users with very old PCs from playing the game. That has happened though, with the GTX 200 series and 9000 series as well from Nvidia. 9800 GT, for example, played this game really well, and now it doesn't launch it anymore. But I'm glad to see that this UE5 update doesn't keep people from playing the game if they have 10-plus-year-old systems. That's really nice to see. Thanks very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one very soon. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.